Objection hearsay.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Objection hearsay.
I saw the chat also asking for Wood Daddy merch, but I don't think I brought any of those up.
My
Erica James.
My law partner vetoed that.
It's kind of fair.
I'll trademark that. I'll make Wood Daddy shirts.
You're Leather Daddy. Don't start. We got Leather Daddy.
Do not give him that name. Do not give him that name. That is so much worse.
I'm getting out of this chat before I get a nickname.
Chat, do not Google that.
Let me know in the chat with a 1 if I should tell Hogue and Rob and Runkle what Sweet James got for his birthday from Noella, either their birthday or their wedding, the stack. Do I tell them about the stack? Put 1 in the chat. If the chat votes, I'll tell you what lawyer Sweet James got for his birthday.
I don't have to look at the chat. I know what they're saying.
That his ex-wife shared on
Rob,
national televition.
She didn't
Imagine
even give him
you.
an option to say no.
I know.
Well, you could put a 2 for no.
She didn't say you could put 2. She just said put 1.
You could put a 2. You could put a 2 in the chat. You guys can watch the chat go.
I
don't have to watch the chat. I know the chat. Look at this. Look at this. This is always like a million ones.
I got to tell you, it's a mysterious kind of teaser you gave there. I don't know what a stack is.
The chat knows. The chat knows. The chat knows what Sweet James got for his birthday. But here's the thing. This is a well-known kind of DUI type attorney in California. Billboards all over the place. His now ex-wife goes on TV and as they are getting divorced is talking all about their life and shares that the gift that she gave him was a stack of vaginas. And she has a picture of the 3 women stacked together for his, I think it was their wedding, but it could have been their birthday.
I'm afraid that Twitter's going to be trending like stack of vaginas.
I feel like you say that because you want that to be trending. Chat, Rob is asking for hashtag stack to be trending.
Time is up to him.
Rob wants hashtag stack trending on Twitter because I don't know if Twitter would let the full sentence out.
No way.
Trending with Wood Daddy.
Yes.
No. I will throw the unicorn. No.
Well,
What? At your camera?
In fairness, Rob, there's a decent shot. It would also be trending with Leather Daddy.
Yes, Leather Daddy and Wood Daddy together there at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, don't ever say that in the same sentence.
See, just because that's on this, you're messing up all of your people's other recommended videos.
Maybe you guys should just go trade. Oh, Wood Daddy stack is a good one. You know, if we're going to look, they got Tug's tits. Tug's tits got trending above the fucking NHL. So I'm just saying, hashtag Wood Daddy stack. There's over 19,000 of you in the chat. I think you could get that trending.
Are you effing kidding me? Stack Daddy is trending at 13.
Oh, God.
Woodstack Daddy is trending at 13. What powers do you have, Emily?
There are almost 20,000 people in here. I don't even know where Good Logic is so far. Number 16 on trending 13.
Hey. Well, that's fantastic. Rob, you're famous.
For what?
Well, I mean, it could have been Unicorn Woodstack Daddy.
This is Tug's tits all over again. Oh,
I mean, it makes sense. Woodstack Daddy's number 10 in trending.
There you go.
Yes. Oh, with only
Fantastic.
1,000 tweets, we can do better than that.
We're using our Care Bear powers for a little bit different goals tonight. But yes, I think it's great.
Care Bear Stare!
Look at that right there. Fantastic.
Wood Daddy stack. All right. Wood Daddy stack is what's happening.
You know you can get above the Mets game there, Rob. You got this.
I mean,
actually, I know a lot of Mets fans that I can really piss off if that happens.
Well, we're trending above Taylor Anderson. We're past Taylor Anderson.
If the chat gets that past the Mets, I will broadcast that shit. Like, I know so many Mets fans that need that. They
need a Wood Daddy stack.
They need the Wood Daddy stack.
You're only a couple spaces from being right next to Elon Musk cancels Twitter deal, so you can really seal this. Big day for everybody.
We
were just hanging out in chat, and then you were nice enough to invite us on. Yeah. And
Number five. Don't forget to screenshot it on the way up.
That's right.
Screenshot
5,
that shit,
right
Wood
above
Daddy.
Steve Bannon and Elon Musk.
There's some logic to it because
Yes.
it's people go after people for like the bots and they say it's all bots. No, it's how the algorithms work. It's when something goes trending, it goes trending. It's not bots.
It's not
a
bots.
bunch of people doing stupid shit on a
At
live.
the same time. Time matters and volume matters. I mean, that's
the definition of the internet.
It is absolutely the definition of the internet, but the tweets are amazing. Thank you all.
I want you to get at some point to a place, Rob, where your lovely nickname is required to be explained by that poor Twitter person that has to write the little paragraph under when it gets too big. If they can explain Emily D. Baker coins nickname for Law and Lumber, people respond or whatever else they would write as the sentence for this.
Oh, you almost had it.
It's number 3 on trending.
Good.
Number 2.
I also
do you? We're trending above SmackDown, which is number 4 on trending.
We're
above the Orioles.
The only thing we're not above is crime drama. Tony, what is Tony Sirico? I have no clue.
You all go ahead and screenshot the moment of Wood Daddy Stack.
But you know what's funny about this is I don't even care about the Wood Daddy Stack. I care about the fact that this is independent content creators that have a small section of the interwebs. And this just shows you the power that all of you guys have in the chat.
Yep.
It's not like a single person that does it. It's
the group.
It's a group. It's a big group, and you all get together and you guys get to go and do battle with the big boys and tell them. And you know what? There's a big portion of Twitter right now who's looking online going, what the fuck is this? And you guys did that. You guys literally created a thing that no one understands.
Wait, are we number 1? Yeah! We are victorious, chat. I'm so excited I could pee.
There you go.
Number 1 trending Wood Daddy Stack.
You guys are freaking insane.
The Law Nerds are the greatest. Will you cover Wood Daddy Stack trending on Twitter, though?
You know, I might have to, actually. It might be headline kind of news. And we'd break that down. We'd talk about what it means. We'd really try to get behind the scenes on Rob as an individual and why he's so interested in stacks of all kinds. Lumber,
stacks of wood. It's that grain stack pattern. I'm pretty sure he talks about. I'm pretty sure he talks about how tightly packed the grain pattern.
Rob loves a tightly packed stack. We know this. It's tight.
I'm going to die.
So we might have to cover that.
I'm pretty sure.
Objection hearsay.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Now, without further delay, please enjoy the show. Again, I am not bot. I am, most certain, not bot.
Good evening, guys. I am most certainly not a bot, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. Anyways, I have some friends with me who have been courteous enough to loan their time, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them in.
Hey, Rob. I've been hearing some rumors about you, my friend.
Totally not a bot. Mm-hmm. Totally not a bot.
That's what a bot would say.
Exactly. And guys, that image was courtesy of Eric Hunley, who does Late Back News. If you haven't checked his channel out, I will link it in the description below. It's a lot of fun. He makes this stuff entertaining, and he loves poking jabs at all of us.
Nice.
He does that.
I can confirm that Rob eats human food.
You only thought you saw that. I've seen Westworld, Ian.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yep. Totally not a bot.
We're being welcomed into a world here today, Rob.
A whole new world. That's Sarah. Thank you for the super chat. You put the Rob in a robot, so not a robot. Great to see you three together.
His name
again,
is Robot.
Law Nerds say the boys are gonna ride. Yeah. Thank you very much. That was very generous of you. Okay, so let's start with our original premise here. So we talked about Andrea. Now,
Yeah.
Andrea,
Many
let me see if
kudos.
I can do this. Super kudos. Andrea was kind enough to. How do I do this?
Well, and the internet was so fast in joining in on that by the time I heard she was doing it, she was already fully funded.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
very fast. It was very fast.
So Andrea releases a press release because she puts all these documents out on the main interwebs for everyone to see. Now, she didn't when she was asking for people to fund this, and full disclosure, Andrea and I communicated prior to this. And Andrea came to me and said, "Hey, I've got an idea. You practice in Virginia in Fairfax. These documents are sealed. Any chance that we might be able to perhaps file a motion to unseal them?" Meaning Andrea and I. And I said, "Let me think about it." But before I could finish thinking about it, Judge A enters the order that releases them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Andrea goes on Twitter and says, "I'm going to get this. I'm going to get these documents. Anyone who wants to provide support for this." Now, she didn't have a questionnaire that says if you're an Amber Heard supporter, if you're Johnny Depp supporter. She didn't have any pre-disclosure. Said, if you want these documents, go contribute to this GoFundMe. And she does. And she gains and earns, I think, $11,000, almost $12,000.
Something north of 10. I know that.
And the total cost of obtaining the documents was $3,300. And she goes and gives that check to the clerk to get the documents in digital format. And then the remaining $7,000 she donates to between the Children's Hospital of LA, and then the other one was the art studio that got stiffed out of
Art of Elysium.
Art of Elysium. So she does that. And now I want you to notice as we go through the articles that there's a certain statement that's missing from every single one of them. And it's, where did the documents come from? Where did the funds come from to get the documents? And where did the funds go that were in excess of what was needed to obtain the documents? And Andrea has never been attributed or never been given credit for this. And she absolutely 100% deserves it.
So let me make one slight correction there, since I just went through and pilloried this article.
One article does.
NBC News and good old Cat 10 Bars, who Andrea calls out here, does reference Andrea, but it's in a fairly negative connotative way, that she's not trustworthy, that they are, putatively the documents that the court released can be found on her website, but NBC is not deigning to go to Ms. Burkhart's website. So they do mention her, they do reference her. It's not in the nicest light, which I actually think, and we could probably ask Andrea directly at some point, is contributing to the timing here, because she tweets this out, this press release statement on August 1st, yesterday, late at night. And we know that that's when that NBC News article goes up from Kat. So I think there was a little bit of gamesmanship on the part of our YouTube and lawyer colleague here. And I think it's justified, but I think that's what happened.
Oh, yeah. Well called for indeed. All right. So before we go too much further, let's talk about the article that brought all of this to the forefront.
Sure.
And that was this particular article. Dun, dun, dun.
I like the sound effects. This is cool.
Hey, you know what?
Hey, it's the Daily Beast.
The
It's a
Daily
double dose.
Beast.
I wake up with the Daily Beast. I'm going to bed with the Daily Beast.
Going to bed with the Daily Beast. Just, oh my gosh, can't even believe it.
Don't do that.
Anyways.
You'll wake up with some scary stuff if you go to bed with the Daily Beast.
So, don't do God, Ian.
I like it. Post 8 p.m. Ian, let's do it.
So the Daily Beast comes out with this article. Now, they published the article. They said they updated on August 1st, but they published it July 31st. And the funny thing about it is the published version of the article is a lot more bare than the one that they ran in this version. There is a lot of, it's not just the clarification. There's a lot of beefed up content. They added content. They added clarification. It looks like the first version of the article essentially just was, I glanced at the fact that there were documents, and now I'm going to report what I heard based on seeing that there were documents. And then he got called out, and then he goes back and actually reads one of the documents that he refers to, literally one of them, and then clarifies his reporting. And that led to some frustration that I expressed on Twitter rather vocally. Because
Rob Unleashed, folks, don't miss it.
Frustrated Rob is best Rob.
I don't get that way. I really don't. It's like,
Rob, that Twitter thread that you did on this stuff was like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Like, I could see you on the steps of a government building somewhere, reaching out towards the middle distance and telling them where to go.
Now, I mean, that's the funny thing. Some people might be wondering why I called this particular video what I did, which is, dear media, please stop pretending, or please stop putting words in my mouth. Because these articles, they speak of a lot of the commentators, the people who are giving commentary on this trial. And they are, without a doubt, at least several of them referring to both Runkle, Rick, Andrea, Emily, Alita, Nick. I mean, take your pick of every single legal analyst on YouTube that took a look at this trial and did some analysis. That's what this is referring to. And it basically is it's a gotcha. It's a, look, these documents were released and they don't say what you said they said. Well, that's not really the point. And this is what got me flaming mad, because let me talk to you guys about trial and how trial works. And everyone here probably knows, well, the people on the screen know what I'm talking about here. In the context of a trial, as you're approaching trial, there's a lot of pretrial discovery issues. You're looking for information. Now, I practice in divorce litigation, which is where people end up looking for the most salacious dirt on the other side. Both people do it. Both sides do it. Both attorneys do it, because it would technically be malpractice not to do it. You have to try and find it. And that is what a lot of these discovery motions are. They are looking for information. And then it's up to those two parties who file motions back and forth and the court to vet what information gets disclosed at trial. The first burden is whether it is or is not relevant to what the court is considering. And it's a really easy burden to meet. Relevance is something that tends to prove something or disprove something, period. That is relevance. But it's viewed in very specific context. So, for example, one of the things that's often quoted here is basically that Johnny Depp doesn't allege a specific injury from Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Rick, I know you have opinions on this one. So why don't you give your thoughts on that?
Well, it's just funny, right? Because one, he doesn't have to. We talked about this a bunch of times. But when you accuse someone of what would be a felonious act or just an unsavory act like what he was accused of, at least by implication that was allowed by the court, then what Virginia court here appeared to say was that this was eligible for defamation per se. We don't have to actually show damages, and we can just say we lost pirates, and you can come up with a number, that kind of thing. But what's more important here is the context of this argument is that they're trying to get a psychiatric or psychological evaluation of him, and he's saying, why? What would the purpose be? This is not a domestic abuse case. This is not a case where I'm alleging that she hit me and I got hurt or that she otherwise broke me. I am talking to you specifically about what she said in the Washington Post in December of 2018, and nothing else is related to that. I am not accusing her of hurting me emotionally. I'm accusing her of killing my reputation and goodwill and killing my ability to make a livelihood. So the court looks at that, and I think what happens is they say, yep. I mean, like that's the underlying issue. But I believe the headline in the Daily Beast is something along the lines of like Depp admits to not being damaged by Heard or something like that. And that's not even what it's summarized as in this particular article.
Yeah,
so,
it says Mr. Depp does not allege a specific cause of action for intentional or negligent infliction of emotional distress, does not assert that Ms. Heard's actions caused him a specific psychiatric injury, and does not claim that Ms. Heard's actions caused him to experience unusually severe emotional distress. That's the exact quote from the motion.
Yeah.
Now, the headline that was above that was Depp said he was not alleging harm from Heard.
No, those are not the same thing.
Yeah, true. You got it, Ian. In one. Yeah. So I mean, like, that's what's going on out there. Right? Like, I haven't gone through all the documents, but just in what they even summarize themselves, you can see this kind of giving the benefit of the doubt, a facile approach. Yeah.
And when these articles are written without context, it confuses people, and it allows for people to take snippets of these motions out of context and then use them as swords. Why did I just say swords?
I have no idea.
You were thinking of S words, but you're not ready to get that laid down yet.
Or maybe
probably not. Swords. I don't know. Ian's got like 6 of them next to him. Oh, here it comes. Nope. That is a battle. That is an implement of destruction.
You could always count on Ian. You have no idea what weapon is just off screen.
When
you get on the stream with Ian, by the way,
device
could be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, but you gotta have your implements nearby.
I mean, but
you never
these
know.
things. they're not intended to be used out of context. Even the motion in limine. The motion in limine is one of several motions that were filed pre-trial, some of which were sealed and some of which were not sealed. And in order to view a motion in limine, you have to view that in its proper place among the unsealed and the sealed documents. They come chronologically. They get filed, boom, 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 boom. And you can't take one out and then just analyze one. You have to analyze the response. You have to analyze how the judge viewed it. You have to analyze all of it before you can just go reporting on it.
Yep.
It's just irresponsible.
As it turns out, you don't have to do those things, but you should.
Apparently not. So that then gets me to the point where, and for those of you in the chat who have not met Rick Hogue yet, I doubt that you guys haven't, but for those of you who have not, Rick doesn't like when things are not reported in an unfair way, and he tends to get pretty snarky about it, as you can see from this Twitter thread.
Do you think this was a snarky Twitter thread? I feel like I was.
Thankfully, it will have limited effects because it's going out to 9.2 million people.
Maybe a little snark. What does the judge say to Ben Shu? You're just a snarky guy? Maybe sometimes.
Just a snarky guy. And by the way, if you guys are looking at those documents, there's a lot of snark in there.
Ben Shu is a mean emailer.
Oh yeah, baby. He comes in, but you thought the Elaine Bredehoff and Ben Shu arguments you saw in court were something. Look at how they conversed in the back end. Like, oh my gosh.
Well, and the really fun thing,
the media just will not drop this.
No, and they keep coming out with these really ridiculous articles.
Yeah, this thread is ridiculous. By the way, if you keep scrolling, I don't even know what I did. 40.
You were really upset. You were not happy. But like the Twitter thread, so blah blah blah. So then there was this argument that somehow this tweet that was going around, Amber Heard deserves an apology. That became viral, and that is now an example that we all deserve and owe Amber Heard an apology. Well, Rick did not really care for that particular language and called her out that one, it was said to be viral, but it was planned.
Well, it was. I mean, it's fine.
I mean, they scheduled it. Like, that's how planned it was, is that they had a scheduling.
Yep. And then because I have the people on this, and then two, and we'll get to this one in a minute, that she openly refers to the Daily Beast as a cross-reference for verifiable information in her own article.
Yep.
The Daily Beast that has been shredded by every lawyer on YouTube. So
yep, we did.
And then last was, we'll get to that one too.
You saw his shining face, folks.
But as far as how easy it is to make things trend, let's see. How easy is it to make things trend?
I want you to know, if you're going for what I think you're going for, this was just an example of a potential hashtag. Yeah, it's this one right here. You just pass it. Yeah, it's at numbers like these.
Would Daddy Stack trending?
Well, see this. So this is what I'm referencing, right? So I'm at the end of the article for NBC News, and they're using their primary premise as the winds have shifted because of this hashtag going out there. And I point out that the author said the winds had shifted before that, and she knew it was planned. But notwithstanding both of those things, it was worthwhile to note that it doesn't take a lot of push to get various wood stacks trending on Twitter or anything else. Right. So I say it's a fact which both Emily Baker and Rob know all too well. And then I say in the next tweet, hey, with numbers like these, and I point out the picture which shows this trending when it starts to trend at something like 1,900 tweets. Just the people reading these threads or otherwise following us on YouTube or having fun watching us could get something silly like shrimp fried rice trending if they really wanted to. And it wouldn't mean anything at all. And so now my timeline, because you guys know how the internet works. Now my timeline is basically nothing else other than shrimp and fried rice. And so I think it's trending in a couple of countries around the world yet. Not USA, I don't think, just now. It was just an example, folks. But you guys are, as always, killing it. And the point is that trends are not indicative of groundswells of support one way or the other. I don't think there's a side to shrimp fried rice. I don't know. But also that when you're analyzing these things in something like the NBC News context, that just saying, hey, this hashtag is really popular and not otherwise diving into how people are using that hashtag is wildly disingenuous for your reporting especially to people, if you have 9.2 million people that are otherwise following you on Twitter, they're probably not all engaging in social media too heavily with folks that aren't regularly doing things with social media. So if you go and you look at I can't remember what the actual hashtag is, but it's Amber Heard deserves an apology, I think, something along those lines. And you go look at how those are actually coming through right now. You can go click on that hashtag. I think it's about 2 to 1, I would estimate, negative to positive. And that's an important part of the story. I'm not saying that you can't make your case that there's an increase in groundswell of support for Amber Heard. I'm saying that you didn't, right? I don't know. I'm not a data scientist, but I'm looking at what you presented to us, and it's all either disingenuous or incomplete.
There were a ton of people saying like Amber Heard deserves an apology from her parents for, being born.
Right. And a bunch of people probably going too far with it. But like either way, it's not, supporting Amber Heard.
If I was running some sort of media organization and some, supposed journalist came in and was like, listen, I have this article and, my evidence of this is something that happened on Twitter. Whether it's, a lot of people are, criticizing this or whatever on Twitter, I'd be like, that's great. And when they got back out to their desk, they'd find everything packed and security there to walk them out.
Well, you're a harsh boss, man.
Well,
I want to answer this question.
Journalist, this is not journalism. This is garbage. And it happens over and over again where they say like, oh, look at these 10 tweets we found, these 10 mean tweets towards this person. So, this is indicative of some, and you look at it and it's like 10 people. And 10 people around the planet might look like a whole lot when you actually, line them up in one article, but it doesn't mean shit. And when you do this, like, this thing trended, it's like, what does that actually mean? Because most of the time when I see things trending, like we have trends all the time here in Canada where I'm like, this is just a political party's marketing.
Sure.
Just, made this trend in order to make it trend. Because that's all they're doing. I'm going, you have to do more than just say, oh, something is trending on Twitter. Trending on Twitter is the least useful information that one can have, really.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I want to get to this question. Stephanie says, I need an explanation of how Rob jumped into this. And here's your explanation. Mr. Marlowe Stern, who's the author of that lovely article that we saw from the Daily Beast, both the previous version and the changed version. He put out a tweet that said, none of these people are legal experts, so no, I do not conflate actual legal experts with Twitter trolls. Well, that got forwarded to me by about 100 or 200 of you guys. So I asked a very legitimate question, why you ran with the original story that reported 6,000 unsealed documents, not 6,000 pages, and that witnesses who actually testified, including Ellen Barkin, Dr. Spiegel, Dr. Hughes, those are just 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. The original article said they were precluded from testifying, including Dr. Hughes, who was the first witness on the stand. I saw the corrections, but why not check first? How hard, how pressed were you to get this thing to print that you couldn't just look? Well, so this wouldn't have been enough to get me up. But then the only response he gives was he didn't respond. And even if he had responded, I would not have cared if it was snarky, if it was dismissive. I would not have cared. You know what? It takes a strong person to go and correct mistakes they made. It takes a brave person to admit the mistakes they made and then go and correct them. There's a very big distinction. So, one, you went and corrected mistakes. Good for you. You gave context. I'm very proud of you for doing that. I still think there's some errors in it.
There are.
But good for you. But when you respond with that.
So I want to give some behind the scenes here because I think I start getting Rob DMs about this as this interaction is going on. He's like, what is even happening? He responds by copying your bio page. What to what end? Why would he do such a thing?
I don't know. At first I was thinking, oh, well, maybe he's just trying to dismiss me as being someone who has no idea what he's talking about. So I responded. Now I'm curious why you decided, you were going to try and make a point by sending a screenshot of my profile.
You say you're a lawyer.
You could have scrolled down and would have seen that I didn't come into this trial thinking one thing or the other. I was honestly just trying to give an accurate assessment of what took place. And that led to this which was my discovery, which was rather frustrating. Figured it out. It took a second, but I see what you're implying. Because my account was created during this trial period, that's the reason why you are sending this. And this is something that bothers me about the media as a whole, and why I actually wanted to do a stream on this particular topic. Because what's really funny about that one is I raised some interesting points in that question. There was an article. It went to print. That article circulated among millions of people. One, there was irresponsible fact checking before the article ran. Yep. Two, you added clarification, but you didn't admit that you got it wrong. So clarification without actually pointing to the actual error and the truth of the error is not really clarification. That's not contextual. And then three, you had previously posted that everyone here, 90% of the Depp Stan accounts. First of all, I never used the word Stan until this freaking trial. I didn't know what it meant. The scary part about this one, is he with one tweet, he both tries to out or dox a person who's asking an actual question. He fails to answer the actual question being asked of him, and he subjugates or subrogates the person who asked the question to a nothing. He depersons them. And by doing that, he shows all of his followers and he tells all of his followers, not only am I not going to listen to what this person said, regardless of the merits of the question itself, but I am not even going to address him as a person. He is, in fact, a robot. So
Probably a Russian one. I mean,
probably
you know better
a Russian
where you're originating from, bot. But yeah, the implication is usually that you're Russian.
So for those of you asking how I got dragged back into this, it was that. People who have looked at my Twitter threads, I don't have that same level of patience. You want to play shenanigans, and if you try to play shenanigans with me, no. But Rick has that. He has that patience. That Twitter thread is like 30 tweets.
It's really great.
I think it's
wonderful.
pretty long.
Why is shrimp fried rice actually trending?
I don't know.
It was to point out that things could be trending for not necessarily.
Okay, but it is trending though.
It is.
In some countries, it's trending. Yes, we've seen it trending in certain countries. I don't think it's in the U.S. yet, but yeah, it's.
The thing is, once Rick, you got to the point where you were pointing out that Amber Heard's fans had organized a hashtag kind of protest, if you will.
Yeah, they timed it out. So what time zone it is for you.
Protest, which again, good for you to do. But for the news to report it as this is an organic groundswelling of support, it's not. It's like a Free Britney rally where they say everyone show up at one time. It's not like randos just wandered by and we're like, oh, we're here to rally. It was planned, which again, completely fine. Do that, but don't pass it off as an organic groundswelling. It was an organized groundswelling.
Right. And I think I tweet out right after that. I am not, Chris Boozy. I'm not Bot Sentinel saying that kind of activity is automatically disqualifying. I say, okay, good for you. But it's organized. That should be in the article, right? You should be telling people that that's what happened. And tell your story that way. This is the biggest problem I had with the NBC News article was do a 40 tweet thread about shrimp fried rice to explain what's happening.
Objection hearsay.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.